and welcome to the 12th Annual Children's Hope Alliance Giving Them Hope Luncheon and our very first Giving Them Hope virtual experience, all presented by Case Farms. We are so excited that you could join us. Well, my name is Christy Edwards, and I have the honor and privilege of hosting this event from this amazing venue, Chickadee Hill Farms in Troutman, North Carolina. We want to extend our greatest appreciation to Michelle Varsovsky and her family for allowing us to come to you live from here. Michelle is a donor and a supporter of Children's Hope Alliance. Now, if you've never seen this breathtaking venue, I encourage you to take a drive out to Troutman, North Carolina, or go to their website at chickadeehillfarms.com. We also want to thank all of our presenters for being here with us today on the set, and we definitely want to just give a huge thanks to all of our sponsors: Case Farms, Wells Fargo, Bank of America, BB&T, now Truist, Liberty, Diametrics, and Fifth Third Bank. Because of their generosity, all of today's proceeds go directly to the children and families of Children's Hope Alliance. So now, back in May, our in-person luncheon was canceled, which is why we are here now in this live virtual experience. Now, if you're new, this is a fundraiser to help support Children's Hope Alliance. They serve families and kids in need all over the state of North Carolina. And it is because of donors like you who give that help them fund those programs. So we want to thank you for taking time, an hour of your lunch, to come and spend it with us. We really appreciate you being here. So what do you expect in the next 43 minutes? Well, first, you're going to hear from a foster family who has adopted. You're also going to hear from one of our amazing therapists who specializes in trauma. You're going to hear from a youth that has experienced a true journey from hurt to hope. And you're going to hear from our staff family who is in the trenches of our work. And not to mention, you get to hear from our CEO. I promise, it's going to be an amazing experience today. Now, before we get started, there is a way that you can give. If any time during our time today that you want to donate, in the right-hand corner of the screen is a donate button. When you click that, the left-hand side will open up. Don't worry, you can still watch the live feed, but this will give you options in how you can give. Whether you give $5 or $5,000, just know that every dollar can impact the life of a child. So let's get started. I know if you are like me, you're ready to hear from the families and the kids. So we're going to start with two stories, a true journey of what it looks like from hurt to hope. Take a look.
When I first saw Alex, he had been referred by the local children's psychiatric hospital because he'd been hospitalized after he had said he wanted to kill himself and he wanted to kill another child or wanted to hurt multiple children, and he had also had sexual behavior problems and been kicked off the school bus. So they sent him to me because they knew I worked with trauma, and he had post-traumatic stress disorder, he had lots of anxiety, He had a lot of ADHD. He was on a lot of different medications. I do TFCBT and I do special sexualized behavior problem therapy. The others were just kind of general therapists who just did regular play therapy or regular talk therapy. For trauma, you have to have specific training in trauma to be able to do it well. You have to know what you're doing, you have to have specific training, and you have to be following an evidence-based model. It doesn't get better by itself. So part of his therapy was understanding how it affected those children, but it was also helping him understand what happened to him and that it hurt him, and stop trying to figure it out by doing it to other children. And the other part was understanding that he didn't want them to go through what he went through. And when he realized he was making them go through what he went through, he was heartbroken. So he went from this child who on paper didn't look like a really nice kid to a kid who just really, really cares about people. He no longer sees himself as the bad kid or the kid who doesn't deserve to live. He now sees himself as a kid.
He was taken from a situation where the living conditions weren't very good. It was in an apartment, being raised by a grandmother, and didn't get out much at all. Not a clean situation. A lot of neglect involved, more than any other issue in his situation. So it was difficult for him in that sense.
When Hunter first came to us, he didn't know what a vegetable was. Us eating at home, eating home-cooked meals, most of the time, he was very upset about the food situation.
Most of the tantrums at home started with food. He was used to Pop-Tarts and chicken nuggets.
We spent a lot of time at the table, learning to eat food, and now he's the best eater. He's our try anything kid. You could take him in a restaurant and he would try it.
Him seeing his own progress, I think, has helped him to maybe believe in himself a little bit more.
My favorite thing about being a foster brother would probably be you get to see all the change, the first steps, the things that are happening in these people's lives that you're taking care of. And you get to have an influence that you wouldn't get to have otherwise.
Most of the placements, the kids just need patience on our side. And, I mean, they get better. We've seen that for sure. If we give them patience and love.
Wow. I am completely blown away by those two boys. Well, now I am joined by Kevin Angel and Celeste Dominguez. Now, Kevin is the programs director at Children's Hope Alliance and handles most of the programming. And Celeste, well, she's our CEO. So, Kevin, I'm going to start with you, if that's okay. So, let's talk first about the child Hunter that was adopted. Let's actually start with Max, the therapist, who specializes in trauma. I had a quick question just about how do your staff help children with trauma like that? And is it difficult? I mean, even though they are well trained.
Yeah, it's a great question. Absolutely, it's very difficult. You think about the impacts of adverse childhood experiences and abuse and neglect. It's a complicated process trying to work with children and families who've experienced that. Our staff, they are very trained, and what they try to do is they begin with establishing this safe place physically, and then also a safe place emotionally for these children to process and these families to process the things they've been through. You think about someone like Max, and there's so many colleagues like her who every day they are faced with some of the most difficult things you could ever imagine as children and families come to their desk or to their office having experienced abuse and neglect. They are real-life miracle workers. People want to see superheroes and they want to know what they look like in real life. Spend some time with someone like Max or one of her colleagues. Yeah. Kids come into their office and Max is helping to teach them how to deal with their trauma. She's showing them how to build relationships with people, how to understand commitment and what is forgiveness, how to practice empathy, not just for themselves, but for other people. Oftentimes I think about the work that Max does, her and her colleagues, and I say they're treating a generation of people who otherwise would not have any hope at all. Mm-hmm. The impacts of trauma are deep. It affects all of our lives. Whether you experienced it personally as an individual or someone you care about has experienced trauma, it touches all of our lives. It causes people to question their self-worth and value. Does my life matter? It causes kids to feel like there's hopelessness. It causes people to be angry with one another. It causes people to not understand. We see that in our clinic and our services when parents come in and they say to us, you know what, this is what's going on with my child, but let me tell you about what happened to me. And we call that generational trauma. And our agency so often is faced with that. We've got adult survivors of childhood trauma. What we do is we try to pair our clinicians to the families in a way that says, what are these risk factors that you're dealing with? What are the things that you're struggling with as a family? And how can we put protective factors that mitigate those risk factors? Mm-hmm. This takes a lot of effort because trauma, like I said earlier, is very real. Share something with you that's really powerful. It speaks to kind of what people are going through in our country. You can take 9 stadiums and fill them with children who went to a hospital last year with some sort of physical injury as a result of violence. For those of us who live in North Carolina, if you've been to a Panthers game, close your eyes and imagine every seat in that stadium filled with children who've been hurt. Now times that by 9. That's the world we're living in. And so the work that people like Max do, it's not an understatement to say they are real life miracle workers.
Absolutely, man. Now, I have to go to Hunter now because I got so excited. I wanted to start with him, and now I understand why we needed to start with Max because she is amazing. So Hunter was adopted, and the 2 brothers, the family that he is a part of, wisdom just oozed from them. So when you are over the foster care programs, can you speak a little bit to that and about that?
Sure, yeah. Foster care is a big area of need for our organization and for North Carolina. Most folks in the public don't know, but there are over 10,000 children who are in the foster care system in North Carolina as we speak. There's one county in North Carolina that has over 1,000 children alone in just one county that need a home, that have been taken out of their home of origin for some form of abuse or neglect. We as an agency provide foster care across North Carolina in 3 regions, our eastern, western, and central regions of the state. We have 165 families who've partnered with us to be foster families, and that's a miracle in and of itself. We're serving right now about 130 children in those programs, and we're doing our best to recruit new families across the state, from Fayetteville to Winston-Salem to Charlotte to Statesville to Hickory to Asheville, North Carolina, because we see such a desperate need. We feel like our foster care program is really unique and different because we use the teaching family model, which is an evidence-based, trauma-informed model that we train our families on how to work with children who come from these complex backgrounds of abuse and neglect. And we're really proud of that model and how it helps us do a good job.
Wow, incredible, I have to say. Now, I have one more question. We know COVID-19 is a real thing. It has impacted all of us greatly. And so no doubt it's probably impacted you all as well. So what programs would you say have been impacted the most by the pandemic, but also which ones have survived?
Sure. So COVID has impacted all of our lives. I think we all can agree. It's been something that nobody could have planned. As an agency, we've seen it transform the way we deliver our services. So things we used to do in person, we've started to do virtually. So if you go online and you see you can Google this or go to YouTube, you'll see videos of our clinicians doing therapeutic activities and exercises. Example of one is a staff member in their own backyard teaching children and families grounding exercises. And so what's great about that is mom and dad who we're working with, or maybe somebody that's not in services, can go and access that content and use it at any point as they're processing and going through their healing journey. That's how it's changed our services. All of them have been impacted, I would say, across the board, and it's been something that we're continuing to work through as we move forward and continue to manage the pandemic.
Yes, completely understand. Well, thank you so much for sharing that today. Now, I want to turn to Miss Celeste. So, Miss Celeste, tell us a little bit about your journey with Children's Hope Alliance.
Well, Christy, let me start by saying I absolutely love this agency. I'm going to share with you how long I've been here, but I believe in what we do. I believe in the healing that we offer, and I believe in the changed pathways and changing that generational cycle and what it does for our children and families. So I love this work. The start for me was in 2001. I was recruited to come to the agency to help the agency grow services and really to improve our quality of care. And I can say confidently, in those 19 years, we have grown by leaps and bounds, and we are using practices like those that Max talks about, trauma-focused care, and other practices that really make what we do lasting. So it's lasting healing. It changes lives. It has outcomes that give people new hope for a new future. So 19 years of this work just at this agency. My career is really 33 years long, and I have spent all of that with children and families in all kinds of settings, everything that you can imagine. And I have seen, honestly, too much, sometimes I say, too much trauma and brokenness. But it's that experience of all of that and what I've seen and what those folks have experienced that really drives me to want to continue to build and create ways for folks to experience hope and healing and to see a new pathway. To be totally transparent, right? That passion for me comes from some personal experience as well. I grew up in a family, a large family, 8 kids. We experienced poverty, hunger, housing issues. Sadly, I also have family members that struggle with substance use, depression. We've had suicide, all kinds of disabilities and learning disabilities. It was a hard experience, but it drives my desire to be doing what I'm doing today. For me, I wanted something different. I didn't want to live an adult life like my childhood was, and I recognize today that childhood is much like the childhood that many of our kids in care experience, and some of my adult life and my siblings' adult life is much like the parents of those we serve. So I'm going down that pathway, seeing the possibility for change. I moved 3,000 miles away from my family. I went to college, I went to graduate school, really just started my life over and proved to myself and confirmed that hope is possible, belief in a brighter future is necessary, and creating a different pathway and an awesome life is totally possible. So I want to share that. I shared that with my siblings, I share that with my nieces and nephews, and I want to continue sharing that with the thousands of families that are before us in North Carolina alone.
Yes.
Yeah.
Wow, incredible. I have to just say, there's nothing like having a leader that's lived it, done it, overcome it, to know where these kids are coming from to make such an impact. That's incredible. So let me ask you this. Where do you see Children's Hope Alliance heading over the next year?
So, well, as Kevin said, right, there are thousands of children in out-of-home care. We have thousands more children that are at homes, but children and families need supports. There's so much we want to do and need to do. We can't do it all in 1 year, right? So to get us started, I think we're going to focus on 3 things for this next year. The first thing is really a commitment to family. That generational change, long-lasting family-based services and family change opportunities. So our early intervention, our prevention, our therapy services like Max does that you saw in the video, all of those are going to continue and grow. Home-based services are critical. Children need a home-based experience that's positive and healthy. So to that end, our foster care services will grow and our home-based services will grow so that children that are at home have the chance to not be removed and experience that healing while they're there, right? That's the best place to do it and the earliest point of doing it. The second thing is really quality care and evidence-based care. So the model that Kevin talked about and that folks are going to hear more about from our experts really that have done this every day in a home, we need more and we need to invest more in that model. It brings skills for our staff. It brings skills that we then translate to our children and families that they need for that healing journey and they need to be on their own. So more investment in those practices. The third thing I would say, Kevin talked about the impact of COVID and our services going virtual. And sadly, our residential services can't go virtual. Right. Residential is one of those things that got hit hard for us this year. But there's really a silver lining there for us. We have the opportunity as a result of that experience to grow and develop our transitional living program. So there are, again, thousands of young adults aging out of the foster care system who do not have a family to shepherd them through that life journey that I had and leaped out on my own, right? Scary. We're going to be that shepherding force for them. We're crafting a 3-phase model that we are very excited about that's going to bring these young adults in, give them the skills that they need to start thinking independently and creating that hope and that belief that they can have a different life. We're going to help them then move to an apartment phase where they actually get to practice living with a really strong support, lots and lots of skill development, lots of help from our very talented staff to work through that trauma, work through those past experiences, and really build on that hope and that belief in themselves. They're going to learn to advocate for themselves. They're going to learn to direct their lives. They're going to learn to speak for what they want and what they need. It's a fabulous experience for them to be able to do that with help. And then we will shepherd them out into the community where they will be on their own. And it's in that phase, we need to remember these are our future adults. These are our future parents. These are our future community members. We want them to know that they can have a different life. We want them to know those generational cycles can end. We want them to know that they can not just survive, but truly thrive and live an awesome life. So we are really excited about that growth pathway. Those young adults will have all of the benefits of Kevin's staff and Kevin's services, which we're thrilled about, but it's a really exciting venture.
Yes, it is. I get excited when I hear about it, as you know, just to have that support when you're stepping out, so huge, so huge. So let me ask you, as nonprofit, helping children, what would you say is your biggest need right now?
I would say we have 2 very, very big needs right now. The first one is really in reference to what Kevin talked about. We desperately need more foster homes. The 100+ homes that we have, right, is a fabulous start. We need 3 times that many to just make a dent in those 10,000 kids that need services in North Carolina. So more foster homes, more home-based healthy experiences for our children, more people that walk alongside biological families and show them how to parent differently and support their child differently. It just is a phenomenal service and we need to grow that. The second thing I would say is financial support. The services that we do not draw fees that fully cover the cost of providing those high quality evidence-based services. So we need that financial support to do what we're doing and to do more of what we're doing, to add to the quality, to bring the model, to bring more homes. So if you would indulge me for a minute,
Oh,
right?
yes.
I want to say to our
Absolutely.
viewers that I am so grateful for you participating in our virtual event today, to coming into Children's Hope Alliance and partnering with us. Your support is critical. We cannot do this work without you. And I am grateful for every single one of you and everything that you do to support us healing hurting children and families and moving them along this journey.
Yes, my goodness. Donations are crucial, as you can hear. They help support and fund these programs, and without yours, it's not possible. And so we want to just remind you that on your screen, the right-hand corner, there is a donate button. When you click it, it will open that left side with all of the options to give. Don't worry, you can still watch the live feed. But we want you to know that every dollar counts, every single one. So whether you give $5 or $5,000, whether you pledge a one-time gift or you pledge yearly, it makes a difference, and we need your help. So I want to now let you meet this young lady who is truly amazing. She's an overcomer herself, and she went on a journey from hurt to hope. Now, we're going to watch and listen to Misty in her own words. Take a look.
The hardest time in my life was seeing my mother overdose several times. Being right there, just seeing her snorting pills and then waking up, with my siblings and us trying to wake her up. She stopped breathing the first 3 times, and the EMS were able to bring her back alive. I was right there, and I didn't know nothing. What to do, what to say. I was so scared. The last time she overdosed, I wasn't there, and they couldn't bring her back alive. It broke something in me. I wasn't there. I couldn't help her. I couldn't tell her I was sorry for the things I said because of being taken away. I have learned what is healthiness in a family without substance abuse. I've learned what healthy parents are supposed to be like. I have learned, and I am learning, healthy boundaries, verbal and physical. I didn't grow up learning and being taught safety, so it wasn't inside of me. Now I have a safety plan on paper, but it's there for me to learn until it's just a part of me, and I won't need a paper. I'm not there yet, but it's happening, and I work on my skills every day. As before, with an unhealthy, messed up life, so much hurt. And really, I guess abuse happened and I thought it was okay because I didn't know. It's hard if you haven't been there to say it in words. I am trying. There was a time I really struggled at CHA. I got through it by teaching parents, being there to support and teach, and hold me always to account. They never, not once, gave up on me. I've had so many people in and out of my life. Trust was not in my life. I've made bonds with people and learned about trust. I have learned about me, that I like crafts and going to church. I like gymnastics and cheer. I love being a kid, a real kid, not a kid acting and needing to be an adult. A kid, 13, with real 13-year-old issues. And I actually blush, and I can't use my voice around a certain 13-year-old boy. Oh well. I feel like I can dream again. I want to go to college and be a cosmetologist. I want to be able to be a stay-at-home mom when the right time comes. I won't be like my mom. It's bad things as a mom. Miss Cheryl has taught me healthy mom things, like being real. It's been the greatest gift. She's taught me what a real mother figure is, through support and honesty. I would tell a kid like me, it's powerful to have a voice. For your voice is to be heard, and it changes the choices you have. Miss Cheryl and Mr. Higgins have always advocated for us and role modeled constantly that for us. But not only that, they taught us self-advocacy. And once I understood that they would really listen, I got the hang of speaking up for myself at family meetings, my CFTs, and finally to the judge at court. He listened. Now I am headed to my grandmother's instead of more placements. My voice was my way of saying my choices. I learned to give my feelings in a way that showed respect and is appropriate to be heard. Miss Cheryl said if you swear, then people stop listening. As I get ready to leave CHA family, I am most proud of myself that I know the power of my voice, and as a result, always, even in therapy, I use my words and have no need to cut or harm myself. I have expressed so much of my pain and hurt. I stood up to my father and the older men who abused me. I have courage, and one of those men is in jail because I used my voice to tell my story. I want to say thank you to so many people here. I want to say thank you to CHA for wrapping love and everything I have needed and didn't even know or think I needed around me. Donors have also loved, supported, and been there to make so many times special. Thank you doesn't even seem like the right amount of words. With everything I have overcome here, I know the next kid like me can too.
What a brave young lady. And I get the honor of introducing you to her in person. This is Misty. Welcome. So glad to have you today.
Yes, ma'am.
Such a brave young lady.
Yes, ma'am.
I also want to introduce Cheryl and Higgins Dormus. The Dormuses, my goodness, have helped children and families from hurt to hope to healing for over, 30 years. What a legacy. Incredible. So I'm going to start with you, Higgins, if that's okay. Misty expressed how much you helped since coming to CHA. What can you tell me about Misty and how far she's come?
Certainly, Christy. I'm honored, truly honored to be here this afternoon to be part of a team of support, along with my wife Cheryl, to tell Misty's story. Her story and her journey from hurt to hope and healing. When Misty came to live with us about almost 2 years ago at Howard Home, and Howard Home is a family home where we provide, it's not just a group home. I just got to make that clear. People have the sense of a group home, but what we endeavor to do at our home is we are staffed with a couple, which is Cheryl and myself as teaching parents, and we provide a home environment for our young people. So Misty came to live with us, and she had just been released from the hospital due to, she had been in the hospital for about a month, an entire month. She had been there due to events triggered by trauma. So when she came to live with us, I was able to instantly observe a young lady who had been through so much, but has so much courage and so much inner strength in her being, in spite of the life that she had lived prior to coming to live at Howard Home. And at the same time, she was broken. She was emotionally and physically not in a good place. She internalized a trauma. She internalized a brokenness. And every interaction with Misty was triggered by trauma response. A simple redirection, a simple feedback triggered a trauma response from her. So what we had to do was to wrap our arms around her with support and love and nurturing and care, and using the teaching family model, which is evidence-based in teaching skills for her to relearn ways to better cope. Instead of internalizing, she's able to verbalize her hurt, her brokenness, and become whole again. And she struggled with healthy boundaries as a result of the abuse that she had experienced. And so that was one of the biggest skills that she needed to learn, because boundaries is self-protection, it's self-care. That was one of the skills she was able to learn. Again, accepting feedback and learning that she could depend on her strength and her courage to be better again. And those were the skills that she was able to master while she lived with us, and she will continue to work on as she transitioned to her life's journey.
Oh, I love it. What a journey. My goodness. Now, Cheryl, let me ask you, in the video, Misty speaks a little bit about the self-advocacy. And what was the reasoning of making sure she knew that? Like, just expand on that a little bit.
Well, I think that Higgins started by just saying that the courage that we saw in Misty when she came to us, we knew that she was able to speak up and put an abuser in jail, and that takes a lot of guts.
Yes.
So we knew that she had something there, and so we knew that our job was to help her have that voice and choice. And so by teaching her the skill of self-advocacy, little by little, she was able to bring that voice and all that brokenness that she was holding inside, bringing it out in a way that she could speak up and speak for herself. And I think for us, that was when we started to meet Misty and really got to see who she was, when she was able to finally speak for herself and become a kid and be 13 and have a real voice and have choice in her life.
My
And
goodness.
so it was really amazing.
Yes.
Yeah.
So Misty, I'm gonna turn to you. It is incredible to hear your story, and I can tell you that your story is going to impact so many people. So thank you for being brave, and thank you for coming forth today with us and sharing a little bit. So let me ask, can you tell us a little bit of what has happened since you've left CHA?
For me, a lot of great things that have happened for me for using my voice. My grandmother that I have not seen over 4 years, I had spoken up for my choice, voice and choice. I've spoken up in self-advocacy. I got to go to my grandmother's, and we had a tight bond. I haven't seen her in over 4 years, and I've had an awesome, pretty much 3 months of seeing my awesome grandmother and getting to be with her, because that's one of the most important ladies in my life, and it feels pretty good. And an awesome lady in front of me had helped me with that too.
Yeah.
To show me what a real mother was.
Incredible, incredible. Well, let me give you an opportunity here. On the other side of that screen, what do you want those people to know? Can you share with them?
Yes, ma'am. Just because you come from a hurt family does not define you who you are, does not define what you can and cannot be. And for me, my boundaries were so horrible, but I had a damaged family, and that did not define who I wanted to be and who I wanted to go to, and what I want to be, and where I want to be. You define who you want to be, you define who you are, you define who you feel the need, you define who you want to be around. You make those decisions for your own self. That's how it works. It's not someone else's fault. You can blame other people, but deep down, honestly, you know who it was and who makes those decisions. And for you to show a lot of respect, it takes a lot of guts to stand up to someone. Trust me, I know. And sometimes it can be very difficult, but it's why you have a lot of awesome people to have by your side to show you what and what not to do. And trust me, I've learned a lot of boundaries. I've learned a lot of things that I knew that I can be and to be a child for the first time in my life. And I have not had that feeling in a long time. And I have an awesome grandmother that's there for me and tell me what and what not to do. And family is very important. And sometimes you just need that to feel you again. And like today, I have a butterfly necklace on, and it represents my mother. And I know she's here. All I can know is she could be right beside me right now. And I'm very thankful. And thank you for listening to me, and thank you so much. And have a blessed day.
Amazing, amazing. Thank you, Misty. Incredible. So let me turn back to Cheryl and Higgins. Can you just speak a little bit about donors and what that means to make this happen?
For me, personally, donors are the heart of what we do every day. Our agency provides, services, provides us with the opportunity to work with family and children, but donors get in underneath us, and they're the heartbeat. When we want to make an experience happen for a child that's not been able to happen, it's donors that do that. And whether it is that $5 or $5,000, their time, their energy, the relationship, the connection, the mentoring, all of those pieces matter to our children. It really is. For me, it's the heart. I love donors. I just want to encourage anybody out there who is looking for something to give to care about. This young lady right here is an example of what donors love and generosity can do.
Our donors, you are not just donors to us, you are our partners in this journey for Misty and thousands of other young people like her on her journey from hurt to hope and healing. Your donations are much more than money. It is the lifeline of our agency to continue to be in existence and to provide the invaluable services that these young people need to thrive. You are the help to the helpless. You are the hope to the hopeless. You are the voice, the voiceless, and the healing to the hurting. And thank you so much for your generosity.
Oh my goodness. Well, Higgins, Cheryl, and Misty, thank you for joining us today. Donors out there, as you heard, I loved how they put it. You are the heartbeat. You are what carries them, that allows them to do the things that they do, to partner with them to help the hurting. We could not do it without you. Absolutely could not. So just remember, right-hand corner of that screen, hit that donate button, open up all the different ways to give, because you make a difference. Well, now I want to introduce to you another amazing young lady. Her name is Ekin Agan, and she came to Children's Hope Alliance at the age of 14, wanting to make a difference. So she got with the staff, she found out what some of the needs were, and she turned around and filled the room with supplies for babies and young adults. She got together with her classmates and they did a car wash, and she raised $1,000 to help fund that. And then she didn't stop there. She created her own nonprofit called Heart to Heart. And Heart to Heart continues today, donating thousands of dollars of just things like anything that you would need for self-care, supplies needed. They even do pizza parties for some of the homes, which is just amazing in itself. And here's the thing, this girl's only 16 years old today, and she's making an impact. Did I mention she also plays the piano and sings? Very gifted, very talented. I'm going to let you just take a look and introduce you to Ekin Agan. Take it away, Ekin.
I know you're there, I know you're hiding in the dark, because your skin
Wow. Thank you, Ekin. What an incredible young lady. Well, now we turn back to you. Remember at the first of the broadcast, I talked about those donations and what an impact it truly makes. Because without you, none of this is possible. The programming, the being able to do the extra things for these kids and families comes straight from you. So again, on your screen, the donate button is in the right corner. It's going to open all of your giving options. Now remember, 100% of your gift will go toward helping children and families, thanks to our wonderful sponsors and their generosity. Simply click on the button. Once it comes down and shows you those options, the first option listed is Giving Them Hope Member Pledge. Now there are different levels of giving a pledge to give annually over a 5-year period. Now this is important. You see, because that promises that you give every year, and that helps CHA plan strategically in their programming and what comes next. As a small business owner, or any business owner, I know you can appreciate that. And it does, it makes a huge difference. Now it doesn't matter if you give $5 a month or $500 per month. We just ask that you consider providing the ongoing support. Also, at the top, simply choose which level of giving fits your budget. I want to encourage you to stretch. Stretch your heart and stretch your wallet. The services that are provided and the number of kids and families we're able to help truly depends on you. If you'd rather give a different amount, add to an existing pledge, or contribute in another way, there's tons of options. I want to thank you for joining us online today. We understand that 2020 has changed us. It's changed the way we meet friends and family. It's changed how we do business. It's changed financially, social, and culture climates. But one thing it's not changed is the needs of these families and these children. That is still here. And without your help, we can't help them. So we want to thank everyone who participated in today, from our production team to every presenter and family. You know, it's truly going to make a difference, and we can't thank you enough. Today has been recorded, so let me ask you this. Do you know someone? Do you know someone that would love to change the trajectory of a child's life? Do you know someone that has a heart to help the hurting? Share this with them. The link is www.childrenshopealliance.org/hurt2hope. It makes such a difference when you know that what you're doing is truly helping. And I want you to know it is. It absolutely is. There's so many more stories, and there's so many more to be told, and those are the ones that you are going to impact. Thank you so much for joining us today. Have a great afternoon.